New York City. They say it's the city that never sleeps, the place where dreams are made, or broken. I remember my first time there like it was yesterday. I was 19 or 20. You know, that age where you think you're invincible, where the world feels like it's opening up, and you're just at the start of it all. My friends and I had taken a trip to the Big Apple. We were tourists, plain and simple. Grand Central Station, Times Square, Central Park. We were doing it all, living it up. It was late, about 8 p.m. We'd had a full day running on the high energy of the city. New York had that pulse, that heartbeat. It was the kind of energy that makes you feel alive. We were heading back to our hotel, laughing, not a care in the world. It was just another night, just another crowd moving through Grand Central Station. You see the people, but you don't see them, not really. And that's when I saw her. At first, she was just another face in the sea of strangers, another person lost in the shuffle of the city. But she wasn't just passing by. She came straight to us. She was a woman, maybe in her mid-30s, but she looked worn down, like life had been harder on her than it should have been. There was something desperate about her, something fragile, like she was clinging to her last shred of hope. She asked us, no, she pleaded with us, for money. Said she needed it to get home. She didn't have her wallet. She looked so vulnerable, like asking for help wasn't something she did often. But here she was, standing in front of a group of strangers, swallowing her pride. She said it would cost $17, maybe $18 for the train fare. That's all she needed to get home. Just a train ride, a ride to safety, a way out of the chaos. My friends, they didn't even look at her. It was like she was invisible to them, like her words bounced off the air and never reached their ears. They brushed her off without a second thought, without even considering. And me? Well, I wasn't much better. I stood there, feeling awkward, unsure. $18. That was all she was asking for. But at 19, that seemed like more than I could part with, more than I was willing to lose. My mind was racing, calculating the risk. You know, you grow up hearing all these stories. Don't give money to strangers, they'll scam you. Don't trust anyone on the streets, they're probably lying. And in that moment, all of that flooded my mind. $18 seemed like a gamble, and I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to be the fool. She said she'd Venmo me back when she got home, but I didn't believe her. I didn't trust her. So I asked her, what about the station attendants? Couldn't they help? She said she'd already tried, and they refused. Her voice wavered when she said it, and that's when I saw it. The tears. She started crying, not sobbing, not making a scene. Just quiet, tired tears. The kind that tell you this wasn't the first time she'd been in a situation like this. The kind of tears that come when you're too exhausted to hold it together anymore. And you know what I did? Nothing. I didn't follow her. I didn't stop her. I just stood there as she turned and walked away. My friends were already laughing, joking about something else, ready to move on. And I followed them. I followed them like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just bared her soul to us. Like she hadn't just cried in front of me. And I thought that was it. I thought I'd never think about her again. But now, years later, that night haunts me. It's strange, isn't it? How a single moment, a brief encounter with a stranger, can stay with you. It's not like I did anything wrong. I didn't hurt her, I didn't steal from her, but the thing is, I didn't help her either. I didn't do anything. And that's what eats away at me now. The nothingness, the void I left behind. I think about it all the time now. What would have happened if I had given her the money? $18. What was $18 to me, really? I spent more than that on a meal the next day without even thinking twice. But back then, in that moment, I felt like it was too much. Too much to give, too much to risk. Maybe she really did need help. Maybe she didn't. I'll never know. And that's the worst part. The not knowing. Did she make it home that night? Was she stranded, left to fend for herself in a city that can be so merciless, so unforgiving? Or was she just scamming people, going from one group to the next, hoping to hit the jackpot with some kind-hearted tourist? I try to tell myself that it didn't matter, that there was no way I could have known for sure. But deep down, I know that's just an excuse. I didn't help because I was afraid of being taken advantage of, afraid of losing a few bucks, afraid of, I don't know. And now that fear, that hesitation, it lingers. It's like a weight that I carry with me, a small stone of regret that never goes away. You know, they say New York is full of people, but it's also full of ghosts. Ghosts of the past, of the things we didn't do, of the chances we didn't take. That woman, she's one of my ghosts now. I see her in my mind, her face, her tears. I hear her voice, shaky and desperate, and every time I replay that night in my head, I wonder, what if? What if I'd done things differently? It's funny how time changes you. At 19, $18 felt like too much. Now? Now it feels like nothing. I would have given it to her in a heartbeat without even questioning it. But it's too late for that. It's too late to change what happened. And that's the real haunting part of it all, the finality of it. You can't go back. You can't rewrite the past. You can only live with the choices you made and hope that next time you'll do better. So, to the woman in Grand Central Station, wherever you are, I'm sorry. I hope you made it home that night. I hope life was kinder to you after that. I hope you found the help you needed, and if not, I'm sorry I didn't give it to you when I had the chance.